Hello and welcome to 10 Minute Takes. We are Jim and Sam, and this is the show where we like to give you our rating first, and then we like to talk about the things that we did and did not like about the movie we just saw. We just came out of an early screening of Aquaman. So with that said, Sam, are you ready to give our rating for Aquaman?
Yes.
Okay. So Aquaman. 3, 2, 1.
See it.
And one thing I have to say before we jump right into it, that in a movie with Nicole Kidman, Patrick Wilson, William Dafoe, I'm shocked that I am saying that of everyone that's in this movie, that Jason Momoa is probably the best one in this film. So Aquaman, this is the 4th or 5th film in the DCEU franchise. And in case you're wondering, yes, they do directly reference some of the other films that came before this. At least one in particular. So yes, this is part of the full franchise. And it is continuing the franchise that we already have. And if you saw Justice League, you've seen Jason Momoa's Aquaman. He was good in Justice League. He was even better here. I know we talked about it in the intro real quick. But Jason Momoa was really, really awesome as Aquaman.
He had like subtle humor that worked really well. Like it was just kind of something that was almost natural to him. And I thought that that's what really brought him to be the best Aquaman that he was. Yeah,
they really just made Aquaman sort of I've seen some people reference him as like Surfer Man or like Surfer Aquaman. Sort of like the bro version of Aquaman.
A dirty bro, like he's just like always messy.
Jason Momoa absolutely owned the role, and everyone was really good in this film. William Dafoe was really good as Valko. Amber Heard was great as Mera. Nicole Kidman was great as the Queen. But I was actually super shocked by how much I liked Momoa as Aquaman. He owns the tough guy.
Did you not think he was going to be good? Like it sounds to me like you underestimated him.
Yeah, well, the trailers just make it come off as they're just like, hey, Jason, just be you. Just be Jason Momoa in this. But there's things that he brings to the table. He's very charismatic. He almost brings like an Indiana Jones-like approach to this
Well,
Aquaman.
they had like a whole little Indiana Jones story there. I actually thought of that too.
Yeah, the little archaeology. And we'll get a little bit more into it in a minute. But all the performances in this film were super fantastic. So what are, outside of the performances, what are some other things that you really liked about this movie?
Okay, my favorite thing about the movie was all the women fighting scenes. They like really gave them a chance to shine and kick some ass. Like it was phenomenal. I had goosebumps the first time Nicole Kidman's character beat up some bad guys.
It's pretty early on.
Awesome.
It's pretty early on. The one thing about Aquaman is that it has a pacing that to me was similar to Infinity War earlier in the year.
It was quick. Like it just kind of got into the story. Like there was no fluff at all. It just got right in.
Yeah, it's pretty much from the opening scene. It's just action, little setup, action, little setup, and it's at that clip. I will say it might have been a little too much for me at the beginning, but the second half really brought it home for me.
You felt like, what, did you think that the first half was too long?
I felt because the first half they're going back and forth, like between the action sequences, they were doing this like storytelling that was going between Jason Momoa as an adult and Jason Momoa as a kid being trained. And I felt like even like these little quaint, like sort of it should be like quieter moments were still like action oriented with that aspect. And it wore on me a little bit, just a little bit in the beginning.
I'm not surprised that it did. I actually thought that all of that was necessary.
No,
I loved it. Like I liked learning about him as a kid. I liked all the sequences as he grew as a child and he started to become who the man he is as Aquaman. Mm-hmm. So I'm not surprised that you felt like it was long, but I thought that the length didn't bother me.
It's not that I thought it was long. It just felt like it was a little much. It was almost like too much action. Where I could have used maybe
You're saying too much action?
Well, I know. Because I do like the quieter moments. Like one of my favorite scenes in the movie is just when him and Mera are just talking on a boat before they go on their adventure. Like I like those quieter moments because they really bring home some of the characters. And I felt like the first half of the movie missed some of those moments, but it didn't ruin the film for me. I still loved the movie. Still thought it was fantastic. The other thing is that the film is visually arresting. It's probably one of the coolest designed comic book films I've ever seen.
They write about that.
I mean, that was my first thing that I wrote is visually arresting, one of the coolest design films I've ever seen. I know I just said that, but that's literally my note.
I know. I mean, I wrote loved all the underwater effects.
Yeah, the underwater effects were really cool. I
was super excited to see what was going to happen with the underwater water effects, but it was so stunning.
It was.
It felt to be at first, the first time you go into Atlanta, it almost reminded me of an underwater Avatar.
Yeah, in a way. I mean, that's what it looked like from the trailers, and that's kind of what they did here. The costume designs are amazing. King Orm and Aquaman in their final suits at the end of the film was just absolutely incredible. King Orm looked awesome. And that'd be an easy design to make him look corny. They did not make him look corny. He looked like a badass. So did Aquaman in his green and gold suit. You see it in the trailer when he comes out of the waterfall and he's got the green and gold suit on.
Yeah, I don't like the colors together, but that's color
Aquaman's
preference. I still think the suit's cool.
Yeah, Amber Heard suit looked cool. The monster designs look cool.
I want a green jumpsuit now. I am finding one, and I am wearing it all the time.
So the designs are super awesome. It's amazing to look at. I wonder if there's a 3D version of this. I'd actually be interested in seeing this film in 3D, just because of how visually arresting it is. The other thing with this film is that we touched on about how much action there is and how fast it is. The film is absolutely bombastic. It is loud. It is
bombastic. I like that word.
It's loud. It's in your face. It's big. I mean, just the opening scene of the film where Aquaman goes to the sub, and we have that scene with the submarine where he first meets Black Manta for the first time. Even that, where it's just Aquaman versus some they call themselves pirates, but they're just regular humans. Even that's like big and bombastic. It's Aquaman rushing a sub to the top of the water, and then he goes in flinging around manhole covers or submarine covers at guys.
Is this in the trailer? All of this stuff that we're talking about?
Pretty much everything. I don't want to talk about the end of the film. I'm not going to give away anything from the end.
Right, we're not going to give spoilers because this is the preview weekend.
Yeah, so the first half of the film's all been in the trailer, but there's a lot of stuff that's not shown in the trailers. We're not going to talk about it, but there's a lot of surprises in this film, a lot of things that really wowed me. Mm-hmm. What was your favorite scene?
I think that can you go first? There's a lot. I'm like trying to think of one that's not going to give something
because
away.
When it was happening in the theater, I'm like, this is it. This is like what I came here to see. I'm happy. I'm a happy camper now. And this is the Italy scene. It's a very Indiana Jones-esque scene. It's a battle and chase sequence that happens in Italy. It's absolutely spectacular. The way James Wan weaves the camera in and out of the action sequence when we're going from Aquaman to Queen, or I don't know if she's the queen yet, but Mera, she's on the chase. She's the princess. And the way James Wan's weaving the camera from the battle sequence with Jason Momoa to the chase sequence with Mera was absolutely incredible.
I would have to say that my favorite sequence was... Shoot, I just had it on the top of my head. I just had it. It was right there. It went away. Oh, it was closer to the end. There was the entire sequence of when he gets the trident and things before, about 20 minutes before, leading up to getting the trident. So like after the point that you're talking about...
The trench? Well, it's the trench.
Well, right, but like right after the point that you're talking about with the fighting sequence, and then until he gets the trident, that entire segment was pretty highly exciting. I think that was probably my favorite. That was like my most exciting time to like watch him and see where it was gonna go. I was like on the tip, like on the edge of my seat, like really ready to watch that.
Yeah, and I'd say that's probably why like the second half of the film is probably like where it really brought it home for me, because the first half felt a little choppy, felt a little almost too fast. Mm-hmm. The second half, like what you said, my favorite scene of the film just leads right into what your favorite scene of the film is, and then that leads into like another great scene. That's why that section of this film of Aquaman was spectacular.
Yeah, and I feel like what you're saying is that the beginning, you said the beginning moved fast. I think that they needed to move fast in order to put as much of the ending as they possibly could. So I think they needed that. But that didn't take, even though it was so quick, it was like, this was his life before he became Aquaman. This is how he became Aquaman. And that's all I needed to get that bridge over to who he is now and what he's trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't need it to be extended.
While I did really love the film, I did have a few issues with it. Did you have any issues with the film before I get into what I had some minor issues with?
My, one issue was your favorite part. I felt like Black Mantis's lead up to their fight was a little anticlimactic.
It's not that I had a problem with it, but you could essentially, like you said, you can take Black Manta, you could take him out of this film, and it doesn't change anything.
No.
There's one sequence where he does have something to do with the overarching plot. You could tweak some things and move around that, but you could really just take Black Manta out of this film and it doesn't change the plot really at all. I still liked the character, and he was again just a really cool looking character, and you sympathize with him. But unfortunately for me, the real villain of the film was King Orm. And you could essentially take Black Manta out and just focus on King Orm.
Yeah, I agree.
The actor was great. Everything about Black Manta was fine. Outside, I wish the writers had done a little bit more to work him into the more overarching aspect of the plot. But I think just for fan service, he was great for just basic fan service. I do have one other nitpick, is that there's one portion of this film, it's like 15 minutes long, where they randomly start playing pop music.
You would have a problem with that.
I don't know why. Like, Aquaman and Mera rise from the ocean, and then all of a sudden, there's a Pitbull singing, a Pitbull song. And it's the cover of Pitbull, and I think it was Rihanna, covered Toto, Africa, which is super strange. I guess they're like, hey, we're taking Aquaman and Mera to, the Sahara Desert, so why don't we have Pitbull do a cover of Africa? Ooh.
Oh, that didn't faze me. It didn't.
It was too. I don't know. It threw me off guard, and then it happens.
Well, I'm not surprised because a lot of movies you have an issue with the pop music anyway. So that's kind
I'm
of
not
just
big on pop music in my films.
It dates them. You say they date them, and it makes sense why you don't like it. You're composing music.
Yeah, and then Black Manta has a little montage that plays to a Depeche Mode song.
Yeah,
and
that
then
was fun.
Aquaman and Mera. Before the Italy sequence, they have this pop song that plays as they take in the people of Italy, I guess. They're interacting with the people of Italy. There's this little pop song.
I felt like that was fine.
It was fine. It's just
that's just you dissecting this so much that you're just let me take this and have this be the problem.
But it didn't it's just nitpicks. It didn't ruin the film. The stuff is fine. Sam Raimi did it in Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 is one of my favorite comic book films. But I just felt like it was a 15-minute segment where it felt like someone went into the movie. It was like, hey, we're going to do this, this, and this. That wasn't the director that did it. It just feels weird when stuff happens.
Maybe if the pop songs were sporadic, it wouldn't be as big of an issue for you, but it's
pretty good. It's well contained.
It's right there. It's just right in one segment, and I thought it was kind of strange too. But I knew you weren't gonna like that. I was like, oh no, what's I'm thinking right now?
It's a little odd, but that's a minor nitpick. I already talked about what I thought about the pacing of the first half being a little choppy. But other than that, that's it. That's my last nitpick. Other than that, I thought everything else was fine.
That was a lot of nitpicks after you said that was your last nitpick.
Yeah. So is there anything else for you?
No, that's it.
Okay, that's it for me.
That's it for me.
All right. So that's it for us. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. We have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse that we are also doing. So stay tuned for that one. And if you like this video, comment and subscribe. Are you excited to see Aquaman? If you are, let us know below. If you were one of the lucky ones to see an early screening, what did you think? Let us know. And as always, we'll see you next time. And thanks for watching, and thanks for listening.